Hey, what's up everyone? My name is Trent. This is Rams Talk. Thank you for tuning in to the Rams' embarrassing loss to the Jets game recap. So don't get it twisted. I took a while for me to get this video out because it's the holidays and I'm a dad and it's crazy. It wasn't because I'm running away from having to deal with the Jets. But anyways, I guess you gotta face it, right? You just gotta face it. And this is, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a kind of a Rams apologist, but it's because I look for context. I'm not super reactionary Twitter guy. But there's no way around how terrible of a loss this is, how embarrassing of a loss this is, how ashamed the Rams franchise should be for losing this game. It is unacceptable, and it's god-awful, and we're going to talk through it. So before I get into these things, if you haven't subscribed, please do so. Hit the like button below. I really do appreciate it. For all of the fans and for all the subscribers who have been commenting and really supporting this channel, I thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It really does mean the world to me, and I apologize if I haven't been responding to all of the comments recently. I tried to get to them, but this is just end of year kind of crazy time. So hopefully the Seahawks game recap I should be able to get back in the groove with being a little more responsive, even in my other social media platforms and accounts, which you can find me in the link below, or in the description below. So also two shout outs. One to my cousin Jamie. I love you very much and I miss you very much. And my other shout out is to Kevin Green, Rams legend, defensive end. Kevin Green passed away the other day, 58. I don't know what the cause of death is, but basically for all Rams fans who are relatively new Rams fans, Kevin Green was the defensive guy when I became a Rams fan in the late 80s, early 90s, back when they were in Los Angeles before St. Louis, and he was awesome. He's third on the team in sacks, I think in the 70s range. So it's Leonard Little, it's Aaron Donald, and it's Kevin Green. He's a Hall of Famer. So that's quite a loss to the Rams family, the Ramley. And so thoughts and prayers to his family. But anyways, another some more terrible news coming after this game. But I think the Rams really looked past the Jets. I think they did. I think that they just, you have this extra couple days off because they played in the Thursday night. They got up for the Patriots game. They got up for that game. The difference in energy and focus between the Patriots game and the Jets game is Grand Canyon size. It's not even close. And I think simply put, the Rams, from a preparation standpoint, from an execution standpoint, pretty much all phases, they completely looked past the Jets, and all they had to do was beat the Jets, who are giving out wins. They're just giving them out to teams that they play. They just lost to the Seahawks 40-3, and the Rams come in just completely just not focused. They win this game, they're in the playoffs for sure. Now they have to pretty much win one more game, but kind of win out to guarantee. So yeah, that's just as simple as it is. And so I kind of looked through the comments of my latest video, the preview, and there are several Jets fans coming in talking trash, or people from other teams talking trash. And this is my thing. You can talk trash, 100% talk trash, if you were talking trash. If you want to go on the record before the game and start talking it up and your team wins and you can back it up, boom, there you go. But don't come out of nowhere and start talking trash. Because I guarantee you, every single Jets fan that's watching this right now, and I don't have a problem with Jets fans. Two to three of my really close friends are Jets fans. But dude, that's just the rules of trash talking. If you weren't around and you thought the Jets were going to lose, right? And also, I don't know how much trash talking I would do if I were you, since you just lost Trevor Lawrence. So this is kind of a weird game where fans from both teams are both horrified of the result of this game. I think Jets fans, deep down, it's just nice to see the team win. I totally get that. Being a Lakers fan, when they were doing this 5-year rebuild, and it was always this kind of tank situation going on when they get Ingram and Ball and D'Angelo Russell, and you're just like, yeah, don't screw it up, don't win any games, tank, right? So like I totally get, but I went to a Lakers-Celtics game when they were terrible, and I still wanted the Lakers to beat the Celtics. And Kent Bazemore went off. It was a very random game. Kent Bazemore went off, and the Lakers won, and I was really happy about it. So like I know Jets fans, like deep down, they're just happy to see their team actually win, beat a top-level team. But like I said, the outcome is definitely, like, I guarantee you Jets would rather trade this win for a loss if they could get Trevor Lawrence, and we would take it. But anyways, also I have to credit the Jets. The Jets brought it. Like you look at their body language, you look at what was going on. Their offense and defensive lines were controlling this game, and they were bringing energy. There was a play where I can't remember the defensive player for the Jets just steamrolled Gerald Everett, and I think he sacked Goff, or it was a running back or something like that. But it was like they were just bringing it the entire game. And I'll talk about it later, but that pass deflection on the final offensive play by the Rams, or Goff threw it to the right side down to Everett, I mean, that was a hell of a play. That was like Darius Williams laying out against the Seahawks when he tapped it away from Tyler Lockett. So, the Jets weren't giving anything away for free in this game. This wasn't just a come and just take it, we're laying down. So I have to credit the Jets. They played very well. Granted, the Rams, I do feel, beat themselves with the penalties and just the execution, the sloppiness. Like, this isn't the Rams we're used to, and it wasn't so, like, mainly because of the Jets. A lot of the Jets did influence how the Rams played to a degree, 100%. But, I just want to say, like, when as Rams fans and we win a game and we look at the news the next day, or the talking heads, and they're always talking about what the other team did wrong, and I don't want to get into that. Like, you need to give credit where credit is due, and the Jets, I mean, Sam Darnold played a clean game. He didn't turn it over. Like, I feel like the Jets came in with a game plan after looking at Rams tape and executed the game plan. Like, the Jets executed their game plan. The Rams did not. And I think the Rams' game plan was off and their execution was off. The only Rams player, well, I don't want to say the only Rams player, but like the only phase of this game where I felt the Rams were great was Matt Gay. Kickoffs and even the field goal. So Matt Gay, congrats. You're okay with me. But I want to talk about the defense first. And it is insane to think that defensively, one player made all the difference in this game, and he didn't even play. And his name is Nick Scott. Nick Scott, what was he, a 7th rounder last year out of Penn State, special teams wizard, backup safety, right? So he was, I think, a part of the COVID contact tracing situation, and he didn't play this week. And I listened to the Athletic podcast, 11 Personnel, with Jordan Rodriguez and Rich Hammond, and I think they summed this up brilliantly. So the Rams have a void at inside linebacker, okay? Micah Kaiser's out, but he's more of a run stopper. He's not a coverage guy. Then you have Kenny Young is in there. Troy Reeder's not so much of a coverage guy. And the way the Rams mitigate that is by going heavy with the defensive backs, the cornerbacks and the safeties. And when you have Terrell Burgess out and Taylor Rapp out, and then you're on to Nick Scott, and Nick Scott is out, then you're losing so much speed at that position. And you saw this with the 49ers, where they just spread you out, and they're going horizontal and trying to reach those edges. And on that first drive, Troy Reeder missed the tackle, and Troy Reeder's been very solid. So this isn't really a knock on Troy Reeder or Kenny Young. I mean, they're playing pretty well, but the Rams didn't have the personnel, and especially Nick Scott. We were keeping it together with Nick Scott, with Burgess and Taylor Rapp out. If Rapp and Scott are in there, I think this is a different situation. But what did you see? Sam Darnold was dumping it off to Ty Johnson, and they were just going around the edges. And there was no one there. The inside linebackers were not catching up to them. And this is what happens when this is a depth issue, and this is also a personnel issue at middle linebacker. So Nick Scott, if Nick Scott is in there, I don't know, but I feel confident that the Rams mitigate that or stop that first touchdown drive that the Jets had, maybe hold them to a field goal, maybe they don't get that far down. But and then Nick Scott again on the block punt. that was where Nick Scott would be, and he wasn't there. And there you go. It's crazy. It's crazy how a 7th rounder and I'm not saying this to knock Nick Scott. I'm just trying to say that missing a player who is actually very instrumental in the Rams' success on special teams and now on defense, and not having him in there, really, I think that was 10 points. That's a 7 to 10 point swing right there of not having Nick Scott. And I never thought I would ever say that. You'd be like, well, we don't have Taylor Rapp, or Jordan Fuller's out, and that's why these things missed. And Terrell Burgess, hard to really say, although he was very good on special teams. But, everyone is so reactionary. John Bonamego, yes, special teams has not been great this year at all. It's kind of whack-a-mole aside from Johnny Hecker. It's whack-a-mole on the coverage, on the field goals earlier in the season. But I think the last block kick Johnny Hecker had was 2019, last year, first game of the season against the Panthers. So, it happens. And was everyone freaking out then about fire John Fossil? So, let's just all relax on that. But Nick Scott, we miss you. Please come back. I don't know what the status is on Taylor Rapp. I don't know if he's getting close to returning. I don't know if Seattle is a week for him. But as long as we get Nick Scott back, I should feel a lot better. If we get Taylor Rapp, that would be pretty amazing. Another thing I want to talk about are the third down conversions, and this speaks to the defensive side of the ball, where the Jets were 7 for 17. That's 7 third downs where we didn't stop them. And obviously you're not going to stop every team from converting third downs, but the Jets, I want to say, are like the worst team in football on third down conversions. And, we just didn't come up with those critical stops. And, I kind of feel like, the Jets were doing on offense what the Rams usually do. They put themselves in third and manageable situations, so it's 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, and then they just get these small gains that they need. And every once in a while, Darnold made good plays. So also the time of possession, they had the ball 34 minutes. We had it 26 minutes. That's just ridiculous. We never got the stop. It was just, it was all phases of this game. I feel like the defensive line played pretty well. It was just the middle, and it was on those crucial downs, and we made Sam Darnold look like, Sam Darnold is a good QB. I think I even bought into this narrative that he's just cooked and done, but, he does have that ability, and, most likely he probably will be the quarterback for the Jets next year, which is crazy how this one game just changed the fortunes of everything. But getting back to the Rams, those 2 long drives that the Jets had. In the first half, their first possession, they marched down the field, touchdown to Ty Johnson. And then to start the third quarter, their drive, what was it, like a 5, 6, 7 minute drive down the field, scored a touchdown there. And, usually the second half is when you think, the Rams are going to make their adjustments. This is the magic time. We're not going to allow any points, maybe just a field goal, 2 field goals in the second half. And I feel like these adjustments were just always late coming and never came. And I remember the Seattle game, the first drive that they had. Who's the running back? It was a guy I didn't even realize that they had, and they were running all this motion and everything. And that's the thing, the motion is really what killed the Rams, because they weren't communicating. There's just so many things. But that drive in the third quarter, it's kind of like, did the Rams did they figure it out? Are they even awake today? That was that, and we're all sitting there waiting for the Rams to wake up. Second half, boom, they're gonna turn on, and before you know it, we're down by 17 points to the Jets, and we've only scored 3 points. Taking me to the offense now. Everyone, here we go. It's like clockwork. The Rams lose a game, and it's we got to start Wolford, we got to bring in Bryce Perkins, how long before Goff's contract is up, and Goff is the reason. Now listen, Goff did not have a good game. He did not look comfortable. He was not super accurate. Even the touchdown throw to Robert Woods was like a weird wobbler, but he led him, it was perfect placement, but didn't look crisp, right? There was that, I think in the first quarter even, where Jared Goff was having to move around the pocket, it was collapsing all around him. And there's this one play where he just kind of threw it and it bounced, like 5 yards in front of him in the ground. And it was like he sensed the pressure coming before it hit him, and he didn't even get hit, but he was just like gun shy. He was totally gun shy. And part of me thinks that, I go back and forth. I think you look at the stats and they're not terrible, right? But he had that interception, which was a terrible throw. That's bad Goff. The stupid turnovers, the fumbles, and stupid interceptions, right? So that was another terrible throw, and you just, I'm not defending him, but there's no alternative. And I hope everyone realizes that right now there is no first of all, he's not Carson Wentz this year. Carson Wentz was awful. Like, really one of the worst quarterbacks in football. Awful. Turnover. He had a good offensive line. Miles Sanders in there. Not really great weapons, but still. Anyways, Jared Goff is not Carson Wentz. And we're not going to just eat the money to bring in someone else. That is not happening. So everyone, with your Goff hate and your overreaction on Goff, you can still feel it in your heart. I'm not telling you what to feel, but like, let's just be real about the situation with Jared Goff. He was not the reason the Rams lost this game. He was part of the reason. He wasn't the main reason. This wasn't the Miami game. Okay, this wasn't even kind of the San Francisco games. He was just a cog in the broken down car, right? But if Austin Corbett doesn't have that holding penalty and Cam Akers scores, we're not talking about Goff at all. Or we are, like, mildly, but it gets overshadowed. If Tyler Higbee doesn't have a holding call and we pick up that first down, we're not talking about Jared Goff. People aren't screaming for his head. So there were so many other things that went wrong in this game. And I think Goff, for me, a lot of the Goff stuff is, Goff didn't execute. He didn't look good. But the play calling and the offensive game plan, I thought, was pretty terrible. It took them until the third quarter to realize 12 personnel. They were getting pushed around at the line of scrimmage. And then the second half rolls around and they think, okay, let's put in our tight ends. Quinnen Williams is out of the game. And then we start seeing Cam Akers just get rolling. And when asked about this, Sean McVay said, well, we couldn't get to activating that personnel package because we were going 3 and out. We could never just get to it. And I feel like, why don't you just start first down in 12 personnel and then stay in it? Like, you don't have to worry. I don't understand why that is an excuse when you can activate 12 personnel anytime. So let's say the first drive or first 2 drives, 3 and out, or whatever. Third drive, let's go 12 personnel. Let's just realize in real time things are not working. And we had no problem against the Pats going 12 personnel. I don't know if this is this pride thing where, we shouldn't need 12 personnel against the Jets, but we obviously needed it. We needed help at the point of attack. And I just think that was just a terrible situation. That was terrible game planning by McVay and in-game adjustments. And we've talked about this before with the in-game adjustments. And I mean, this happens with every coach. This isn't just Sean McVay. But the genius is also human. And I know when we're all watching this in real time and we're yelling at our TVs like, come on, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? It's weird when we can see this. But anyways, I thought that was, and I felt in the second half, we were getting some momentum. We were scoring. It was, like if we had just played with that fire and I guess had those adjustments earlier in the game, it wouldn't have been 20-3, and we wouldn't have been in that hole. But I mean, the offensive line was just getting manhandled. Honestly, it was rough. Woods was open a lot. You could see his body language. He was not happy with it, but Goff missed throws. He missed Kupp, he missed Woods, he missed throws. But here's the thing. So many quarterbacks miss throws. Patrick Mahomes misses throws. Granted, not like Jared Goff, but still, I think we can look at every game and Jared Goff will have missed at least one throw. So, I mean, do we really want to do that? Also, with the play calling, not just the 12 personnel in those groupings, but it was a third down. We did a screen pass. I mean, it just also goes to show that McVay doesn't really have a lot of confidence in Jared Goff. And this is something we've been saying, I've been saying this whole season. A lot of you know this, that he's really being confined or restricted. It's like, okay, we just stay a little, go for yak, go for yak, go for yak. We're not pushing it down the field. And that's what makes my final point here the most insane thing that I just cannot comprehend is at the end of the game with 4 minutes to go, and it's 3rd and 4 on the 30-something yard line, and we go for 2 deep passes. We never go for deep passes, ever. And we did it in this situation with 2 consecutive plays when all we needed was 4 yards. And this is, to me, the most insane part of this entire game. Everything leading up to this, whatever, but this right here, listen, on 3rd and 4, and McVay said his mind was made up, or Matt Gay said that McVay, the offensive mind was made up, that they're going to go for it if it gets to 4th down. So that play, that kind of little wheel route to Cam Akers, to me, that play call was terrible, but for Goff, that was his first read and he just went for it. He didn't progress, and had he progressed, he would have seen an open man. Cooper Kupp was getting open. And the Rams are great at the 4-yard pass. Like, I don't understand. And you're trying that, a very low percentage, 50% chance of succeeding at best, and you're using a running back. And I know Cam Akers can catch the ball, but when you're doing a deep fade with a defensive player right on him, he's not the tallest guy who, he's not DeAndre Hopkins going up there. So to me, that was a bad play call, but had Goff gone through the progressions, he should have found a better option. I would have just liked to see them run the ball, because Cam Akers was averaging 11 yards per run in the second half. So, I don't understand why they didn't run the ball, but then again, that's just how it is being a Rams fan. No one understands why they don't run the ball. Then they have 3 or 4 games a year where they just go crazy running the football and it shuts us up. But then you have moments like this where you're like, why wasn't that a run? Why didn't Goff read into the plays? Okay, so fine. And this is something that Jordan Rodriguez even touched on, and this is how I view the Rams offense now, probably since 5 or 6 games ago, is that every play is building up to the next play. So if you know that you have 2 plays that go 4 yards, the first play, the 3rd down play, should be a play that gets you close, if not past the 1st down marker. A deep fade is not that play, right? Then it's 4th and 4, and and this was the play call. The play call was just first read, throw it to Everett, because they liked the look they were getting. I believe it was May, the safety, who came over and broke it up, which was a great play by him. And had Goff put another foot of air underneath it, he doesn't get it, and maybe that's a touchdown. But why is that the play when you need 4 yards? This isn't, 30 seconds to go in the game, and you just got to push the ball downfield. You just needed 4 yards, and he got the ball, boom, and he did it. And that was the plan. And I don't know what world that would be the plan in. And I just, it would be great. I would have no problem if those 2 plays happened in the 2nd quarter or in the 3rd quarter. But at that juncture, at that point, that was just, I still cannot believe that was what happened. And that was the play call, and that was the execution. That was just terrible. That was just terrible. That was just terrible. So, we all know it. We all feel it. So this is gut check time, right? I feel, in a weird way, I don't know if anyone else has noticed this, but I feel like the Rams play better on the road than they do at home. I don't know what it is about SoFi. Maybe it's just too chill. I think maybe they get better energy when they're on the road. That's just my opinion. But I feel going to Seattle, they play well in Seattle. Seattle does not impress me much, but Seattle is still a really good team. So I think the Rams need a gut check. I'm going to get into this in another video, but they need a gut check, and they need to be pissed. They need to come into Seattle, and they'll get up for Seattle, right? It'll be a completely different energy level than it was against the Jets. But they need to do that. They need it right now. It's just win, because this game isn't guaranteed, and even Arizona is not guaranteed, right? When the Rams lose to the Jets, they can lose, like, even though I feel they should beat Arizona, or that they're definitely capable and can beat Seattle, who knows? And if the Rams are to actually win the Super Bowl, that means they have to win essentially 6 games in a row. They need to win the next 2 regular season games. They need to win their first playoff game, their second playoff game, their third playoff game, and the Super Bowl. I think it's 3 NFC rounds. I think. And the Rams haven't won 3 games in a row all year. And do we really feel like, let's just be real, do you really think that they're going to win 6 games in a row playing all playoff teams? They can, but I don't think that's likely. And I'm not just saying this because of recency bias with this Jets game, but this is what they've shown us all year. And do I feel like Goff is going to beat Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray, Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes? I don't think that that's happening. I mean, their defense can really make if he doesn't turn the ball over. But anyways, I'm kind of digressing here. But that's the recap. It was crap all the way around. You know, everyone's to blame except Matt Gay. Speaking of which, Matt Gay, can you hit the music? So anyways, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Leave a comment below. Like I said, like it, subscribe if you haven't watched another video. Keep your heads up. Merry Christmas. And as always, go Rams. See if this will work now. 2 for 2. See if we go for 3. All right. See you on the other side.